MD, WT, Cold Steel. I'm gonna say Texas Southern. I don't remember that name. I think it's Funk Train or something. And Prairie View, which is MSD.
All right, I'm gonna jump in. Yeah, I'm gonna jump in. Number one, Warren Thunder, and the reason why I say that, 1973, they are the creators of so many and influencers of so many other drum lines. So Warren Thunder, Million Dollar Funk Squad, man, they're amazing. Got to get them in there. Honestly, man, FAMU, they have like an actual percussion ensemble, and I actually enjoy listening to them play, especially accompanying the band, especially in ballads, because you can barely hear them in the background, but they're kind of accompanying the band. So I love FAMU's drum line. I also like Bethune Cookman. They got a funky top of DCI style too. So I do like Bethune Cookman. And the last, I'm gonna give it to Prairie View. The reason why Prairie View, man, they are the originators of what Cold Steel tries to do. And for all of you band heads that are in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. And plus, I'm from North Carolina. When I was coming up in the 90s and the 2000s, A&T, Cold Steel, they weren't doing anything remotely close to what they're doing now. What happened was they played Prairie View out in LA for the Angel City Classic in 2007. And when they came back, they stole and jacked everything they saw Prairie View do, from the dances to the drum line to incorporating the DCI type of drilling and whatnot. Because at the time, Norfolk and North Carolina Central on the East Coast were the only ones doing that. But yeah, those are my top five.
I'm interested. I need to ask you about the FAMU being put in a top five, because honestly, in my 40 years of life, I have never heard anybody say that.
So they're not too flashy. Like when I think about flashy drum lines, Norfolk, they have a lot of sticking, they have a lot of funk and whatnot, and I think it's great, just like Warren Thunder. But from a musician standpoint, when the band is playing, their percussion is actually accompanying the band, and a lot of times you hear among HBCU bands, it's like a battle between the percussion and the horns as far as who's going to be heard. But they have and I don't know if you've ever seen like one of their percussion concerts. It sounds like an actual percussion ensemble. Like if you can maybe pull up in your spare time, pull up some YouTube clips of their drum line kind of warming up. I think you'll be impressed.
Mr. Walker, you're next.
I'm just sitting here listening. My top five. Number one, WT. Number two, I'm gonna go $1 million. I'm gonna go with them. I like what they're doing. I like when I want to hear my tonal kind of drum line, I kind of go with them. Number three, I'm gonna say PV. Yeah, I mean, but they still got to work on their sticking though, to me, because, like I said, I'm a true percussionist. I mean, and when we look at stuff like that, if you can't, if you're not good at sticking, to me, you're not even a true percussionist. You don't even need to be on the phone with me even talking.
Absolutely.
If you don't know anything about stick height and stuff like that, then you don't need to be on the phone with me.
That's correct.
Not talking about percussion. Number four, I'll say Cold Steel. And number five, let's see. Cause see, I also, and see another thing with my ear, I listen to drum sections that know how to remain in the pocket. See, that's why I say I'm a percussionist for real. So I mean, and I hear what brother was saying about FAMU, but they have tempo issues sometimes, and they don't know how to clean up the pocket. But number five, I'm trying to think. I guess you could say Texas Southern. Yeah, Texas Southern. Funk Trainers, they're okay. They're okay. But I like as far as the East Coast, yeah, I'm not even riding no coattails from what I've seen through, different YouTube videos and stuff like that, yeah, you got to go with Norfolk. You got to go with Norfolk on that one because, like I said, they're true tonal. They're a true tonal section, very true tonal section. They still, they use the Kevlar heads and stuff like that. So I mean, very true. Even with their seps, their seps actually use normal drumsticks. So that's because you have those Kevlar heads. But yeah, that would be my top 5. But me, I'm big on pocket. And if, and not trying to bash anybody, and please, not trying to bring people up, but because right now we're talking about the band, but the worst pocket you ever want to hear is this drum section called Funk Factory. I mean, they the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. I don't even know why they even had a time. I don't even know why they even have a drum section sometimes, because Southern is terrible. I mean, they tempo and then the sound of the sound of the drum is terrible. It's just, and I had a lot of friends that was in Funk Factory, and they always used to try to say they had the best drum section. And I was just like, maybe they had the best drum section when I was in junior high, as far as the I guess the complication of their music. We played stuff like that when I was in junior high. So, not even when I was in high school. So, but that's my top 5. Like I said, on the East Coast, she's right. Because I've watched you guys a lot. And I like that tonal sound, but all you gotta do is use your percussion ears and put your biases to the side. What you need to do is just type in War and Thunder when they're tuning in, when the camera is tuning in on the drum. I want you to watch their stick height. I want you to watch the complexity of the cadences. I want you to watch the actual sound that projects from the drum, because it's one thing to beat the drum, but you have to play the drum. There's a difference. So there's a difference. So I used to play the drums. I didn't. Now, of course, you're going to play fortissimo, meaning loud.
So we have a fan question. They want to ask about call and response. But before we get on call and response, because you have to explain what that is, because I know you just talked about percussion, you talked about stick height. So I want to
stick height. Okay, stick height. Basically, when the drum line is playing, like say the snare drum.
I know what stick height is. I didn't know that was important.
Okay.
I didn't know it was that important. Like, you got it too, because if you have it too low, it's gonna make the sound different, right?
No. Stick height is great for presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great for presentation.
But she kind of is right, because if the stick heights are different, let's just say someone is playing at 3 inches and someone is playing at 6. The person that's playing at 3 inches, their stick is going to hit the head before the person that's at 6 inches.
Yeah, and then when you have to check your metronome issues as well. So that's just all about, like I said, you got to learn how to control your stick height. Both of you guys are right. But you also have to, check your metronomes and stuff like that. It's real complex. MSD, WT, they make it look easy, but it's not as easy as it looks. It's not, because you gotta hit every note, and then you have to play, and then you got to keep your sticks at a certain height. So that means, and then it also creates uniformity of the sound.
That's correct.
Okay, so they want to talk about call and response, because I guess War and Thunder. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying.
Oh, go ahead with your 5. So Doc, go with his 5, and then Jasmine, go with your 5, and then now after that they want to talk about the call and response. Make sure there's 218 people in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Thank you. Go ahead, Doc. Your top 5.
So my top 5, in no way, shape, or order. Of course, I'm gonna put my bias up in there. I'm gonna put WT, and WT one. I had like listened to the $1 Million Funk Squad. Hey, y'all blow me away with everything. With just the sound and everything. Third is Prairie View. I ain't gonna say the Marching Storm drumline. I'm talking about the actual Mac Funk box before Professor Edwards passed away. I'm talking about that drumline right there. Number 4, I will go with. I do like Bethune-Cookman's drumline, and number 5, I will go with North Carolina A&T. But like you said, with when Prairie View played A&T in the Angel City Classic, yeah, you've seen a lot of when they got back to Greensboro, you see they changed up their whole deal, and they pretty much copied what everything Prairie View had done. And for honorable mention, nobody. I actually like Grambling, Chocolate Steel, and Texas Southern Funk Train.
Oh Lord.
Now, if Thornberry put it on there, he said old school Morris Brown. Yeah, prior to 2002, yeah, they was on one.
Yeah.
All right, Jasmine, you want to name your 5? I don't know why, but the North Carolina Central DOA drumline is in the chat heavy. So why y'all didn't say North Carolina drumline? Why aren't they in the discussion?
Because they was dead on arrival when they got here. Dead on arrival.
Yeah, I ain't gonna. Yeah,
what they say? Hey, what they what they say? Time of death.
And see, the crazy part about it is DOA know that's laughable when we actually got tape on YouTube showing that massacre last year. You actually got tape. Oh my God. You can actually just type in. You can actually type that in. You can just go War and Thunder Celebration Bowl, and it's gonna pop right up. Like, come on now, DOA, don't do that. Don't your section leader couldn't even stand in a straight line last year. Now, come on now, don't do that. Don't even do that. As a matter of fact, I was there. Come on now, don't do that. And I was standing on DOA's side. And that's how bad it was. I mean, all you got to do is just type it in. Come on, DOA. We had fun with you guys, man. But come on.
Not dead or alive.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that, man.
Can I
don't
touch
do
base with the person who said Grambling was on their list? I'm just inquiring as.
I mean, but I mean that would make old school Grambling. I'm not gonna say now. I would also put on there the Bongo Brothers from South Carolina State.
Back in the day, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would give them that too.
They're getting back to old bongo-y, but yeah, they were pretty. They were something back then, but they had some troubling time. But we're gonna pray that they make it back.
Is this Jasmine? You want me to chime in or?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, you asked a tough question because I like a lot of the percussions. So at the top of my list, I may get some flack. War and Thunder is at the top of my list. Jackson State War and Thunder is a solid traditional drum line. They got their 5 drums. You got your Scotch, you got your motis, you got your tenors, you got your snares, and then you got the cymbals that bring it all together. That's all they need. That's all they do. And oh my gosh, they bring the power. War and Thunder. So for 2023 and 2023 alone, I bring up number 2, only for this year alone, the Z528, which is FAMU's percussion. They have been solid. They have been bringing some great.
It's about time.
They have. Hey, everyone, it's about time. Absolutely, yes to that. They have been solid here.
Let me get in after you. I got something to say.
Yeah, no, chime in right now. Let's hear it now.
Hey, can we actually talk about the stuff that matter? Who y'all think got the best musicianship, piccolos, and the best balance?
Oh.
And who the daddy of all HBCU bands? That's all I want to know.
Stay quiet on this one. I got nothing to say.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm a Marching 100 alumni. I'm just gonna keep quiet.
That's all I got to say. They already know what's up.
That person made their point. I'm just gonna keep it moving. So Z28 for number two right now, only for the year 2023. They sounded really, really good this year. At the top of my list every year is the $1 Million Funk Squad. That drum line is phenomenal every year, hands down, no questions asked. And at the same tier as them, sometimes they're a little bit ahead, sometimes a little bit behind. It's Cold Steel, North Carolina A&T. Cold Steel's fire. And for the number 5 position, it was really difficult for me to pick out. There were so many great drum lines to pick for the number 5 position. But right now, only because I heard them live and I was there next to them, I'm going to put Miles College for number 5 because they sounded great. I watched the section leader go against Clark, and they nailed all the cadences, and they look really good. They sounded really good. Their tenors and Miles College with the chessboards was fire. Miles College is number 5 for me because I was there in person. And I'll leave it there. There's so many ways this can go. Y'all caught me off guard, but that's where I'm at. I'm leaving it there.
Okay, so that was interesting, but I just would like to point out, I'm not gonna be biased, but I did see that a theme.
We'll go back, Uncle said.
A theme throughout the live for this top 5 is, of course, War and Thunder was in everybody's conversation. I'm just saying.
And so
FAMU.
Welcome back, Uncle said.
FAMU is Southern and JSU's daddy. Does anybody want to answer that? I don't know. I think we've already.
Sutler Trophy.
That's all right, though.
Okay, so the last one that we're going to go over is, of course, the musicianship. I think that's a really nice question.
That's what we're waiting on.
Once again, we're going to start with Funk Squad. I guess we're going to do, instead of doing 5, maybe we should do your top 2 bands, or maybe 3.
I already know who number 1.
For musicianship, we're going to taper it down to 3. 3. So, starting with you, go ahead.
Musicianship. So are we going like arrangements, quality of sound, dynamic ability, all of that? Is that what we're including in this?
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, you can include that all.
I will say this. I'm only going to give one, honestly, and I'm just going to say this as like a whole. And I don't want to hear certain people on this live here losing their mind, but honestly, musicianship, I think FAM got it. They sound like they're the first band that made me cry for real. Like when at the funeral I saw what is on YouTube. Who was it? Somebody passed, and they have a full round sound. I lied. I am gonna give some other ones. You know who else sounds good, but it's just the same thing every year? Bethune sounds good, but they just play the same thing every 5 minutes.
They don't even leave out Florida like that though. Because you really don't see them like that.
Bethune?
Yeah, because they don't literally they don't leave out of their bubble in Florida.
No, they don't. And Wells wants the money. So
this is jazz, man. And what you just described there is the Florida sound. You said both FAMU and Bethune at the same time. That is the Florida sound.
I don't think I meant that as I wasn't even thinking that. I'm just going by the bands. Now, of course, as far as arrangements, I'm going to have to put our band in there as well because we have some amazing arrangements. Jackson State, to me, this year is my favorite band. They're my band of the year. For this year, I just think that they did what they needed to do. And I also think this year that Texas Southern did what they needed to do as far as musically. They fumbled against Jackson, but that was the battle that I was really looking forward to, and they really, really, really let me down. But I just, I guess that's mine. But I do like the Florida sound, and y'all can hang me on the cross. I see y'all in the chat, but I said what I said.
Hey, so you said when they put when the Ocean played went up against the Boom, you said they fumbled the ball as far as in the stands or like on the field or both?
Well, I said Texas Southern and Jackson.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like when you said when they played, when Texas Southern, I think they fumbled. You said they played Jackson, they fumbled the ball.
Yeah, not the field show because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't watch it.
Okay,
but I did watch the fifth, and because Texas Southern to me has really been on a roll. I don't know if you watched Texas Southern in Grambling this year, but God, no, it wasn't even close. It was so embarrassing. They it was horrible the way Texas Southern did them boys, and they had on t-shirts and sweatpants, and it was horrible the way they did them boys. And I was like, oh my God, when they get to Jackson, it is going to be something. And they didn't. They fumbled it. I think it was song selection. Like they had way better songs that they could have played, and they just didn't.
I like it.
All right, Mr. Walker, which your top 3 for musicianship?
My turn.
You want to go, nephew?
Who you picking?
You want me to go?
Oh no, no, I was talking to Braxton. But musicianship, the sister was right. I mean, this year, with Jackson State kind of separated themselves this year because Dr. Little and his team with those pens that they have, what lets you know with the musicianship as far as Jackson State is, all you have to do is whatever song that they're playing, you go to the YouTube and listen to the actual song, and it's the same. So, shout out to, the trumpets stepping up this year. The woodwinds are just major. I mean, they fill in those gaps. It's just major. Musicality. I do like Norfolk. I listened to a bunch of tracks they played. Very good tracks. Now, what the sister was saying with FAMU, it's a very melodic sound. Very melodic. Like all parts are moving as one. They just coming together like that. And that's how, BCU, all those bands kind of like in that area, they play a very melodic sound. And it all comes together. But those are my top 3. I'm gonna go with Jackson State, Norfolk, and number 3, like the sister said, I'm gonna put Texas Southern in there, but yeah, we were actually at that game, and yeah, they got waxed pretty bad. Like that wasn't the Texas Southern. Matter of fact, they tried to play Black and Blue and got waxed with that, and that's one of their mainstays, and it was pretty bad. So, but those are, my top 3. Those are my top 3 bands.
Top.
So, number one, I will put Jackson State up there because just bringing out the sound, that sound is more crisp. You can actually hear the melody and everything. Like Uncle said, the trumpet was much more cleaner this season than in previous seasons. Especially when we did the at the MEAC Swag Challenge, when we did the Tina Turner tribute. you know, when you play a song, you if you got a whole stadium singing a song, going along with the band, that's unmatched. Number two, I would give FAMU. And now I would say this: when I seen them last week at the championship game, they had some arrangements in the stands where I was like, oh, I didn't know they could actually. I didn't know they could actually pull that off right there. And then number three, three is basically Norfolk State, and then I would give Texas Southern honorable mention. And I gotta watch that fifth quarter because other than the two player knocking the crap out of old dude in the stands, it still went on beat. I got to see the whole fifth quarter on that. But I did watch that field show because with Brian Simmons coming in from Southern, he changed that, like he turned that whole band around. Just like that. So that's what I'm gonna go with. And then I can't really say I want to really say anything about Tennessee State because I haven't really watched them this season. So but that's who I got.
Jasmine, you last.
My turn.
You okay? Who's your
Oh
top?
my gosh, man! Everyone had so many good comments.
Your Gremlin.
And oh my gosh, I don't know which way I can go with this. It's a committee of us in here now. So so I am a band YouTuber and I travel around the nation to listen to bands in person so I can judge them for myself. And no one is feeling me when I say Tennessee State is the band of the year. The sound that Tennessee State had this year is unparalleled. When I was in Clayton County for the Clayton County Battle of the Bands, and I was at the top of the stadium and Tennessee State played, I felt that I was inside the marching band. No other band has done that with me in the stadium. I get that feeling when I'm on the ground with them, but not in the stadium. I've never experienced anything like that before with Tennessee State. Not only did they do that, this is the Grammy award-winning Tennessee State. This is the top-notch band that has just won a Grammy, right? That's Tennessee State University. They are band of the year for 2023 for me. Now, right behind them on their tails is Jackson State University. That is the most tested, battle-hardened band of 2023. This is coming from a Marching 100 alumni. Jackson State battled everybody and knocked them out of the park, with the exception of Alcorn. That battle of the band, that fifth quarter, Alcorn gave JSU a solid L. But other than that, JSU was nice. Oh my gosh, the JSU, what they put on Mississippi Valley State, oh my gosh, that is a lesson learned. Oh my God, that is classic battle. Mississippi Valley State versus Jackson State, fifth quarter 2023, go watch that. That is fire. And then rounding that up, this was tough. Rounding that up, I think we all said Norfolk State. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. They're a beautiful band. Norfolk State is a MEAC band, and they're very, very, very musical. And with the notion of the musicality, it is Hot Ice that rounds it out for me. Hot Ice are the dancers for Norfolk, and they are phenomenal. They're very, very very sensational. I can't say the right word. They're good, they look good, and they dance really well. Norfolk rounds out number 3. So that is TSU number 1, JSU number 2, with Norfolk rounding out number 3. Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so very much. You know what? This was really interesting. This is the first live. Braxton, be quiet. This is my first live having talking about the bands. And so I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Make sure that you hit that like button. subscribe and support the channel. As I stated earlier, oh my goodness, it's time for him to go to bed. Sorry, y'all. As I stated earlier in my live, I am headed towards St. Louis, Missouri tomorrow to bury my grandfather, my son's great grandfather, Grandpa Willie. So, in addition to I'll be using these donations that you guys gave me for this live for traveling. So I will be burying him on Monday. He was in the Army and he went to Vietnam in the 60s. He was honorably discharged in 64, and so he passed away on Monday. So your prayers are needed for that safe travel, because I'll be having Braxton in the car for 6 hours and then trucking the other 5. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you would like, please make a donation to the channel, and if not, just go ahead and subscribe. And thank everybody for coming in tonight. Thank Miss Funk Squad for coming up and giving us the breakdown from that East Coast perspective. Thanks, Jerome Brooks, Mr. Walker, Doc Holiday, and Jasmine. Thank everybody. Did anybody have any last words?
This was so fun. I appreciate it. Let's do it more.
Yeah.
All right.
For inviting me. This was great.
All right.
Hey, it was awesome. It was awesome. Let's do it again anytime.
Hey, we tomorrow, since my sister is gonna be on the road traveling, I will be streaming the game tomorrow morning, because it's 11 o'clock kickoff. So y'all tune in tomorrow. And like I said, since you safe travels, y'all, you're my prayer, you're my sister to the end. I don't care what anybody say. as much pettiness that you put out there for everybody to see, you always gonna be my prayer. You always gonna be my sister, no matter what.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So that'll be Doc Holiday streaming the Celebration Bowl live. You said at 11?
Yeah, I think it's
That's
11
so
o'clock.
early. That means they're not even having a parade. Why are they doing it so early? Good Lord.
So yeah, we'll be streaming that. And I'll do that before I head into work tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, Rusty, you ain't watching it, but you gonna tune in for the free.
And so everybody have a good night. Of course, I'm going to end the live with the best band in the nation, the Sonic Boom of the South. Y'all have a good night.
He's